there's a lot to cover, but I wouldn't feel okay with myself starting this video without proposing this. If you like pancakes more than waffles, you got caught lacking today, because unfortunately that's just an inferior choice. I mean, look, I respect your taste, I respect what you prefer, but you're just wrong, okay? You got caught lacking today. You gotta subscribe to the channel. It just is what it is. But if you like waffles more than pancakes, I respect that. You're good to go, all right? And this was, fueled by something in the comments here that, I'm not gonna lie, had me thinking, and I just had to pose that, because you're a pancake guy over a waffle? Come on, make it make some sense. Anyways, look, I respect you nonetheless, but come on, bro. Anyways, let's get through this here. So I like to react to the hot takes under every hot take video I make. So comment under this video with your own hot takes. And this, I can't pronounce, Zinime? Is that how you pronounce the name? Instead of the typical Twitter edition of Dokkan Hot Takes, we get to have the YouTube ones here for us non-Twitter users. There you go. So if you don't use Twitter, you can come straight here for the Dokkan Hot Take. So, Frog Requiem. Hot take. Orbs are one of the most underutilized main mechanics in Dokkan aside from orb changing. Imagine a Goku and Vegeta that transforms when you collect 2 Potara rainbow orbs on the field. A Yajirobe that spawns a Sensu heal. That's actually, to be completely honest, I have never, ever thought of using orbs in that way. And I think that's, you know what, dude? I want to make a video about what comments are here. Oh, look at this. This, I mean, cold take. It's definitely a cold take. Like, you're absolutely, it's not even a hot take. But the fact that, like, I've never thought about this before. I've never thought about this. Frog, if you're watching this, Frog, I'm gonna make a video about this, because I want to ask if I can make a video about this, but I don't know if you're gonna respond to this video a week later. But dude, this would be insane. So with the conditions for a Goku and Vegeta character, you have to collect 2 rainbow 2 Potara rainbow orbs on the field. Like, you have to collect, like, you have to, that's the only way to fuse. Or maybe it's a Goku and Vegeta who don't, permanently stay fused, but if you collect 2 or more, they fuse for that one turn. Something like that. Again, regardless, there's so much orb manipulation that we can see in the game. I think you're absolutely right. Has to be one of the most underutilized. Yeah, I agree. I've never thought about that before, ever. That's a great take. Setting a team manually of their opening rotation, or just having the leader be on the first rotation and the friend lead on the second rotation, would be a healthy additional to the combat mechanic in the game. Setting a team manually of their, so you basically control the opening rotation. I think that RNG factor, adds a lot to the game. Like, imagine you hopping into an event and you have a very bad rotation. Beating the event, especially when rotations are very important, ends up becoming that much more satisfying. So while, yes, I agree, you have, like, it would be great to set your main rotations, if I'm understanding this correct, would be, of course, extremely ideal. I think you'd have to be able to, like, beat an event before, like, every event would have to come with, like, a certain time limit, and if you can beat that event under a specific time limit, that means that you quote-unquote master the event, and then you can probably do something like that, right? But if you haven't beaten an event just yet, you probably should not be able to do something like this. That's just, my opinion. Hot take, well, here we go. Waffles are better than pancakes. I absolutely agree. In response to my take being called bad, my focus wasn't just on SPR rewards. I used those older rewards as examples for what I wish rewards were still. If we got better rewards, not just support memories and a few stones, I would enjoy completing the difficult content better. I don't feel rewarded for beating the hard content given. That's my opinion, though. And that is, I don't know why I'm doing all caps. That is completely fair. Thank you, jeez, for explaining that. There we go. Moving on. Hot take: if there is a Kid Buu LR, I want him to be the best extreme LR. That's a cold take. He has to be the best character in the game, easily. Tenabot Super Saiyan 4 Goku was very good in release and is still very much usable in current JP content. I want to see. I don't think so, man. Yeah, I mean, Super Saiyan 4 Goku has definitely aged a considerable amount. Is he bad? Not at all. Especially once you get the standby stuff active, right? So, for clarification on the first hot take of mine, the reason I said stun is the worst mechanic is because of how unbalanced it is. Preventing either an enemy from attacking from 1 to 2 turns, which is stackable to keep them Preventing either an enemy from attacking for 1 to 2 turns, which is stackable to keep them perma-stunned, or you getting stunned, which could either be a mild annoyance or straight up death for you, which is fair, I agree. So in essence, what I want to say is that stun should be nerfed. Maybe have it so that it removes all the normal attacks and special abilities like group attack and enemy healing or just normals, instead of removing every attack including supers, which makes it uber busted. That way we can keep seal as a way to prevent enemies from doing supers, but stun is to stop us from tanking more hits by isolating the super. So basically stun is stopping the enemy from doing every single action except for super attacking, and sealing is to stop the enemy from super attacking. If it isn't enough, then they should include a cooldown on the stun where the boss isn't able to be stunned for a period of time, say like 1 or 2 turns. It also makes you think about whether you should bring a stunner, since you might have units who need to be hit for their passives to activate. So, okay, so I'll say that, and I'll respond while I'm responding. The clarification here makes it easier to understand, and I honestly agree. I think honestly the biggest issue with something like this is making it okay for players. Not making it okay for players, but it's like, okay, now I have to, okay, so I'm trying to see how I word this, right? I like the idea, right? I do. The issue is there's characters that have the ability to stun. There are people in this game that have summoned for characters because of their ability to stun. When you nerf that ability, the character becomes slightly worse, because even if you get the stun off, before it used to mean no attacks, but now it means I summoned for you because you can stun. We got the stun off. Hooray. We still got hit by a super and we still died, right? Like, could you imagine stunning an enemy and you still get hit with a super and you die? Where a week or two ago, before the update dropped, stun meant no attacks at all. Like, it would be definitely a step in the wrong direction. I will say, though, that if this is the way it was always, like, let's say this is the way stuns always worked, I would prefer this. The reason why I say that is, especially this last point, it makes you think whether you should bring a stunner. But I think we're so spoiled with how strong stun is that when you nerf it, it's going to be like, oh, what's the point? Which there still is a point, but knowing the community, it's like, what's the frickin' point of having a stunner on the team, right? And as enemies get stronger and have more unique abilities, this is going to become even more of a good idea, right? It's just, we're so spoiled with how strong it is. It's going to be interesting to see how the community reacts if they indeed decide to go ahead and nerf how strong stun is. But I agree that stun is definitely can definitely be OP. It's definitely unbalanced, but I wish stun worked like this from the get-go, to be completely honest. I don't see them changing it, but I think making it more unique, making it more of a skill type of thing, like, wow, okay, I'm gonna bring a stunner because I'd rather stun the enemy and take the super because the amount of damage this enemy does on normal attacks is just too much. My team can't keep up with it. But if this character or this boss is only super attacking once per turn, I may be able to survive that once per turn if I have my, certain rotations set up correctly. So stunning would be more effective in this event than sealing, right? So I get that. I understand. I agree. But I don't know if they're going to do that. Dokkan should have a fan contest celebration. Fans would create a character or a fan art and vote what units should be added to the game. Could be once a year celebration like heroes, and of course they would be on the crossover category. Amazing idea, not even a hot take. Amazing. Might make a video on that too. Hot takes: Dokkan has the most generous distribution of stones compared to other games that I used to play with decent rates. I started saving 50 days ago, and I'm at 1720, but the most I've got since I started playing, which was 2016. I will say, a little bit subjective in the sense that if you just started playing recently, and again, their players have been playing since 2016, right? But we just don't know how much content they've been skipping, how much content they've been doing over the last few weeks, months, years. So it's hard to really quantify this, but the point overall is that Dokkan, I would say, is very generous when it comes to free stuff, including Dragonstones. So yeah, I agree. You can literally finish 90% of the game. I agree. I was playing JP Dokkan before hearing about the sync. I went back to global and started fresh. Decided to play during the worldwide, the one with Infinite Zamasu and Vegeta Blue. The units I picked up from Celebration, including Future Han and Trunks, allowed me to finish every red zone, including the Divine Wrath vs. Mortal Will event. Bearing anything with unit restrictions, I beat them all. It was the quickest I'd ever beaten the content after starting a new account. Of course, the Future Saga team I used might have a difficult time in 9th anniversary content, but you can bet I saved up for that. So thank you for sharing that. The thing with this too is, like, I think overall it would be harder for a completely new player to do this, because if you start fresh, you know exactly what you're doing, right? Which makes beating events and going through content a lot easier than when you're completely new. I still stand by the fact that if you're, this is a take from the future, like the previous video where content should be harder because a new player can finish 90% of the game. It was something like that. I could be misquoting it a little bit, but I think a new player would have a hard time beating 90% of the game very quickly. I just don't see that as a possibility, simply because, again, there's so much to learn. There's such a curve in terms of understanding everything that's going on in the game. Hot take: names should be taken more seriously, because this can ruin a lot of Link partners just because they missed up on some name, like Tech Zamasu not linking with Int Zamasu. They should have named him Half Corrupt. I agree. I think names are taken seriously. I just think they should be smarter with their choices. I absolutely agree. Appreciate you. Hot take: reduced defense is actually useful, or defensive reduction is actually useful. It's just overlooked. When I first started the game and pulled OG STR Broly, I just could not beat him until I used the SR AGL GT Gohan, who was my ace to beat that event. Yeah, so there are so I would say if you had to compare damage reduction versus defense reduction on a super attack effect facing an enemy, attack reduction is just so much better. Because attack reduction is just going to make sure that you don't get hit as hard, right? Especially with all the attacks that these enemies are doing nowadays. But if you're able to lower their defense, it does definitely allow you to beat the events either a little bit faster or, just do a little bit more damage. So both are definitely useful. Both are not talked about that much, and part of that is because enemies don't allow that to happen, right? Many enemies in the game disable the ability to have their stats reduced. And recently, there's been quite a few enemies that do allow it, but still overall, there's not many enemies that allow it, so it's not really a massive talking point. Like, when we see a character have the ability to lower attack and defense, it's just like, whatever. Like, it's cool, right? Because it's not that broken, because it's not a big thing anymore, because enemies just don't allow it most of the time, so. But overall, I agree. Hot take: after seeing special pose jump through the roof with TOP Gotenks Rubrienne, honestly think they could make GT bosses a really good category. What is the hot take here? Oh, so you're saying because they buff special pose, you think that they could also make GT bosses a really good category? To make GT bosses a good category, you're going to have to put some characters that are not on GT bosses in the GT bosses category, and then you're going to have to do some like miracle work when it comes to releases, EZAs, and stuff like that. I think they should add missions for link leveling that give stones, kind of like soul boost missions in Dragon Ball Legends. And they should also add missions for SPR and ESPR, like be at a stage with the category, but with 4 to 5 AGL. I know people would be mad, but I'd like it. So, okay, first part, I agree. Mission for link leveling would be great. 10 link level 10s, right? 30 link level 10s, 50, 100 link level. I think that would be cool. Absolutely. Maybe you get 3 dragon stones for every 10 link levels you get, right? I think that's something like that would be cool. Anyways, and then more missions for SPR, ESPR. Again, more missions for any event would be great, especially if they organize it in a really nice way, so I wouldn't really be upset. Hot take, Majin AGL LR Vegeta needs in Super EZ8 next. He's my glorious king. That's not a hot take. They should drop characters from the manga, Ultimate Gohan vs. Jiren, Ultra Instinct, Ultra Ego, and Black Frieza. It's been a couple years since the anime over, and yet we are still stuck in Tournament of TOF? The most recent Dragon Ball movie? Wait, TOF? Wait, you talking about oh, is it, dude, I forgot the name of the Beast Gohan movie. Oh, it's Dragon Ball Super Superhero. I don't know what TOF stands for, unless I'm just slow. I could really be just slow. But regardless, manga stuff, the only thing, let me put my my headset to charge. Give me 1 second. All right, so the only manga thing I believe we actually have in the game is the super attack for the Dokkan Fest Golden Week AGL Zamasu. That's the only thing I think we have from the manga, which says a lot. I don't think we're gonna get any more from the manga. Should they add it? Absolutely. Will they? Probably not. But I agree. It's definitely a cool take. Guys, hot take means like people are most likely going to disagree. A lot of these are just definitely good takes, right? The rewards for Red Zone and challenge events are outdated and should be increased or drastically increase the amount of missions. I wouldn't say dramatically increase the amount of missions. I like when they slowly add missions from time to time, you know? I think it keeps the game fresh, because if you just load up the game and release an update with like 10 missions in each Red Zone, once you complete that, we're probably not going to get any more missions for like a few months, you know? So releasing one mission here, one mission there, 2 missions here, 2 missions there, keeps the game fresh and people, you know, coming back to those events and playing them. So, but ESPR and SPR have some of the best rewards in the game. They give stones, free LR, Z equips, support memory / EZA medals, and that thing you use in the Baba Shop. I agree. Hot take, everyone who complains about the game being too hard for free-to-play players just are very poor at stone management. Probably saving for anniversary worldwide download, maybe one extra banner somewhere you can easily handle all free-to-play content as a free-to-play player. I absolutely agree. 100%. That's dollars. A W take. The leader skill jump 3 key and 3,000 attack to 3 key, 70% HP attack and defense was bigger. Okay, I agree. I mean, I wasn't even here to really witness this. Like, I was playing the game, but I had no idea what was going on. So I can't really like sit here and say, oh my god, the amount of the power creep was crazy. But I agree, dude. It's literally in the numbers. 3 key to 3. Actually, the reason. Okay, hold on. So 3 key to 3,000. Again, I wasn't really here to really witness this, like witness the impact of it from the community. But I remember hearing and watching content and to hear like this was a massive jump. So I get that. The reason why I kind of slightly disagree is because when this change happened during the 7th anniversary, there were so many characters in the game that instantly got buffed compared to this. And that's just a fact. There was literally less characters in the game all these years ago, right? But, dude, when this change happened, there were so many... You have to understand, the change was so impactful to so many characters literally received mini EZAs because of these things here. So I think this was more impactful and it was bigger because of the amount of characters it was able to impact, right? Compared to this. But the jump itself, the stat jump itself was definitely bigger here. But the impact was bigger here, I'd say. Cool. Hot take, free-to-play units should be extremely limited to 1 or 2 teams, but help out that team extremely well. Oh, well, absolutely, 100%. They should make free-to-play characters extremely strong, but very limited, 100%. There is no ability a boss can do to make good units bad and bad units good. You choose what character to bring. There is no ability a boss can do to make good units bad and bad units good. You choose which character to bring. There's no ability a boss... I'm trying to reread it to see if I can understand it a different way than one I'm already understanding it. Because a boss can literally stop... Let's say a character is built completely to dodge, right? Okay. If the boss stops you from dodging, that character becomes useless, literally useless in that event. But I think the point JK is trying to make here is that the character itself doesn't lose value, right? You just don't bring them in the event and you bring characters that can work. I think I kind of understand it, and low-key I kind of agree. It's just that Dokkan is a game where you're always trying to run meta teams. So when a new event comes out that makes 3 or 4 of those characters on the biggest, strongest meta team kind of useless, well... This is an interesting take. This is actually an interesting take. The thing is, power creep is also a thing too, you know? But a boss can definitely make a character that looks good, just not look that great anymore. But is that because you brought them into the event hoping they'd do good? Or did the boss make them worse? Because the boss didn't... I don't know, man. I think if a character has crit in their passive, dodge in their passive, and the enemy doesn't allow them to use their passive, then I disagree. If let's say my passive has 3 paragraphs and the boss doesn't allow me to activate 2 of those paragraphs, you are literally stripping down the character of what they can do, which means you are literally making the character worse, right? Unless I don't know. That's pretty interesting take though. I like that. Don't know if it's a hot take, but here's my take. We should be able to change the hidden potential of a unit for free post-EZA. Post-EZA, a unit's kit could change drastically, and I think we should be able to change it for free just once, and maybe only until the EZA stage is available, or the celebration is over, but 5 stones per node is way too much. Low-key, I agree. Actually, high-key, I agree. If a character EZAs until the EZA event goes away, you have that much time to, for free, change the hidden potential system. If you don't, then sure, the cost goes back. But this is an amazing. This is amazing. I absolutely agree. Hot take, co-op game mode over World Tournament update. Absolutely agree. Global will lose some of its charm once full synchro happens. Half the fun of the game on Global is getting a sneak peek at the future and being able to save your stones for what you really want. The loss of omniscience will be a dagger to the heart. I agree. At least you can read though, right? Hot take, chain battle is better than burst mode by a long shot. I disagree. I think burst mode is really cool because burst mode really does allow you to hop into an event and customize your experience so everyone is facing the event differently and still getting the rewards that you want, right? And not that much differently, sure, but I like the idea of burst mode, whereas chain battle really required you to have whale friends. So I do like burst. The rewards for chain battle were better, but burst mode is definitely not bad at all. I disagree. A hot take, they should give out more ways to get link slot orbs. I mean, it's a fairly new item. So I would say just be patient because we're definitely going to get more ways in the future. I know you said not any in the video, but there's never going to be a situation in the game where 6 of the same name characters are good at the same time for newer fights, for example. Oh, so this was okay. So this is in response to me saying same name characters should not link up. For example, when we got 3 base Gokus back to back, 2 of them were good, but their links weren't one to one, and the Spirit Bomb Goku was complete trash. That way, I don't think adding same name linking is bad, but I do think same character linking shouldn't be added. I'd rather use a good other EBF unit rather than Int Goku, just because him and Tech and AGL Goku have 3-4 links together. So I disagree with the notion that same name characters should link up. I just don't. And even though this is not a bad take, like this is not a bad explanation at all, I definitely understand. I just think Dokkan has so many characters. When you allow same name characters to link up, I think it's still just de-incentivizes. Yeah, it de-incentivizes proper team building. And by proper, I mean like really thinking about who you're bringing, why you're bringing them. And of course, that still kind of carries over, but it's like, I think it's just, I guess part of me just thinks it's boring. Like, why bring all Super Saiyan 4 Go? There's so many characters in the game, you know? And that's just, maybe that's not a great way to explain my side of it, but I just disagree. I don't know. Dokkan should just release a new game mode and keep Chain Battle instead of replacing it. I don't think... I'm one of those people that think that Dokkan should not add new game modes and perfect the ones that they do have. JoJo fans rise up. There we go. My hot take, L or ST are cooler, never does additional supers, only normal doesn't have additional built in his passive skill. Dokkan has to give built-in additional supers like 70%, guards all attacks, and 50% up to 100% to crit per attack. So yeah, I mean, this is me and L or AGL Goku. He just never dodges. Hot take, stop giving free-to-play cards, especially Anniversary LR ones, easy on release and make them good. I absolutely agree. EZA, for me, the way they should work, in my opinion, is an Anniversary character, a free character should come out, and they should be extremely busted. The best free-to-play character ever. And then the next Anniversary, they should get an EZA and still be on the next level of power. Free LRs from Anniversary should be different, like just different tiers, just in my opinion. I don't know. My hot take, Tech Ultimate Gohan will be better than he was on... Oh, wait. Tech Ulton will... What am I saying? Tech Ultimate Gohan. Ulton, whatever you want to call him. It sounds weird. I think we all read Ulton, but we don't really say it, right? I don't know. Will be better than he was on release with the shift in meta content and the fact that Dokkan has release, I would say, good EZAs for the DFEs this year, as well as Gohan. I mean, Jiren isn't a great example of that, right? As Gohan having a high chance of EZA this year, he will be more meta relevant than he ever. I mean, yeah, when a character gets an EZA, I don't consider this a hot take because when a character gets an EZA, they're going to be more meta relevant than what they ever have before, right? The thing here with Gohan is that Gohan has been relevant for so long, and Gohan, kind of talking about the point that JK made here, Tech Ultimate Gohan has really not lost his value at all. All the events that we once beat Tech Ultimate Gohan with, you can still beat them. New players are still going to find all of that insane value, right? It's just the newer events don't really offer that same room and space for him to operate. But yeah, when he gets an EZA, literally all they need to do is change one line, add one line, tweak a little number here, and he's going to be probably the best EZA that we've ever seen, honestly. So let me know what you think about these hot takes, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and peace.